Hello and an extremely warm welcome to this, the Tuesday night edition of Cable Today, your very own local programme here on Channel 15, bringing you the news 7 days a week for the London boroughs of Sutton, Croydon, Merton, Kingston and Richmond. It's Chocolate Week all this week on Cable Today, and my goodness me, look at all the chocolate there is for us to munch our way through. Becky Simpson is munching her way through as she talks to a psychiatrist about chocoholism. We find out about the relationship between Marks and Spencer's and chocolate with Sarah Turner, a food supervisor at Marks and Spencer's. She's got with her some boxes of chocolates to give away as a competition prize, and we'll be testing out this special chocolate bunny with our chocolate critic, Isobel Rapoport from a Croydon school. Isobel's also brought with her own chocolate recipe, especially for us to try out in the studio. First of all, though, let's have the local news with our own little chocolate bunny, Marcus Churchill.
Thank you, Susie. Good evening. The headlines on Tuesday the 13th of April. 2 children have been placed in council care after a Home Alone scandal, and the police are treating 3 separate fires in Sutton as arson. A baby and a child are in the care of Croydon Social Services under a child protection order this evening after their mother allegedly went missing. The 35-year-old mother and another man were arrested today at 4 a.m. as they returned to their home in Merton Road, Thornton Heath. The Home Alone saga began when her 3-year-old daughter was dropped off at a teenage babysitter's in Catford on Good Friday to be collected the following day. The police were alerted to the problem yesterday when the mother had still failed to pick up her daughter. Officers then searched the home address to discover a 10-month-old baby boy alone in the terraced house. A source has told Cable Today that the baby's condition, as certified by Mayday Hospital, was satisfactory and indicates the boy may only have been left alone for a few hours. In accordance with the Child Protection Act, a case conference will be held over the next few days, attended by social workers, the police, health visitors, the parents and the family doctor. The future of the 2 children will then be decided. Meanwhile, the future of the mother and the other man arrested this morning is now in the hands of South Norwood Police, whose child protection officers have interviewed the couple all day. Police are treating 3 separate fires that occurred over the weekend within a mile of each other as arson. They believe the crimes may have been committed by the same person. The first happened on Saturday between 3 and 5 p.m. A ground floor flat on the Shanklin Estates, Hulverston Close, Sutton, had a lighted newspaper pushed through the letterbox that fortunately extinguished itself. At the time, the elderly occupant was in hospital, and it wasn't until a few hours later that the Sun discovered the arson attempt. On Easter Sunday, at just after 1:30 in the afternoon, damage was caused to a hallway, curtains, carpets and a door after lighted paper was thrown through a letterbox of a property in Dunsbury Close, again on the Shanklin Estate. The third arson attack occurred late last night at the same location as the other 2 incidents, on Brighton Road in Sutton. Only minimal damage was caused. Sutton Crime Desk are appealing for witnesses to call them on 081 643 1212. A 21-year-old man will appear at Wimbledon Magistrates Court on May the 6th, charged with 3 counts of grievous bodily harm. David Driscoll, unemployed, of Laburnham Road in Collier's Wood, has been charged in connection with 3 assaults that took place on Tuesday the 30th of March at the Beverley Arms pub in Lower Morden Lane, Morden. Driscoll has been released on police bail. Croydon Council's white-collar jobs could go as part of plans to contract out finance, legal and building and architectural services. The authority says that £4 million a year has already been saved since compulsory competitive tendering was introduced in 1988. Councillors maintain that with the government planning to tender professional services in the near future, staff are likely to benefit from its earlier implementation. It's envisaged the plans could involve switching services to a private sector host company or a management or employee buyout. Let's have a look at the main headlines again this Tuesday evening. 2 children have been placed in council care after a Home Alone scandal, and the police are treating 3 separate fires in a Sutton area as arson. Well, that's all from me for tonight. I hand you back to Susie Cornfield with the rest of Cable Today. Good night.
Thanks, Marcus, for the news. Yes, indeed, we've gone chocolate mad in tonight's programme to reflect the fact that we're going chocolate mad all week on Cable Today. We're finding out from Becky Simpson, from a psychiatrist who's at St George's Hospital in Tooting, whether such things as chocoholics exist. And later in the programme, in School Report, a Croydon schoolgirl munches her way through chocolate and gives us her opinion. First of all, though, it's time for our weekly business report, and we're finding out in tonight's programme about the relationship between Marks and Spencer's and chocolate with Sarah Turner, a food supervisor at Marks and Spencer. Sarah, a very warm welcome to you. Before I come on to asking whether you are indeed a chocoholic, how long have you been working at Marks and Spencer?
11 years now.
And you've always been involved in food in some way?
Yes, I started off in the business in the catering side, to the backstage areas, and I've moved in the last 2 years into the commercial side on the food section.
And now the $64,000 question, are you a chocoholic?
Definitely, yes.
Well, how often do you eat chocolate? What do you like?
As often as I can, and I really haven't got any preference. I like all brands. It's particularly good at work because we actually get to try to taste all the new lines that come in, so I'm always in the front row to taste them.
And apparently somebody said that you actually had a T-shirt made with what words on it?
Quick feed me chocolate, which the other girls I work with bought me for my birthday last year.
You're that bad?
Yeah.
You're all that good? Now, what is the turnover in the food department in Marks and Spencer's in Croydon? It's quite a big store, isn't it, in comparison with other ones?
It's on average about 17 million a year.
That's just food alone?
That's just food alone, yes.
And what percentage does chocolate make up of that turnover?
Chocolate actually only makes up a very small percentage. It actually gets larger at peak periods, so at Christmas, Mother's Day, Easter, those types of year we actually see an increase and it becomes a much more important part of our business.
And you do very, very special ranges at this time?
Yes, we do. For Father's Day we've got a new range coming in, so we'll have a little chest of drawers with books in it, chocolate tie and golf balls for Dad. And Mother's Day we did similar lines.
And Easter as well, you've done lots of Easter eggs, which have presumably got eaten up as well. Now, what about foreign chocolate? That's quite important, isn't it, in Marks and Spencer?
45% of our chocolate that we actually have in Marks now is actually coming from abroad. The most popular lines we do are the Swiss and the Belgian lines.
Why is Swiss chocolate and Belgian chocolate so much superior to British chocolate?
I think if anyone who eats Swiss or Belgian chocolates, actually when they taste it, they can appreciate it's a much smoother chocolate. And it's purely in the processing. It actually undergoes a longer processing.
What happens exactly?
It's just actually in the creaming of it and the stirring, basically. It's a lot longer for those, and
just
therefore
like
changes the
wine or brandy. Sorry to interrupt you, but just to sort of it's stirred longer and longer.
And it just actually improves the texture, making it smoother and creamier.
Is there a difference between north and south? Do we have that sort of chocolate divide, or has that been noted yet?
I don't think we've noticed it with chocolate, but we do certainly with other products we sell. There's definitely a different buy in the north of England to the south.
What about milk and plain chocolate? I mean, I'm terribly surprised when you said the percentage of people who still prefer milk chocolate.
It's 80% of our business is actually on milk chocolate.
I was very surprised at that. And you were talking about white chocolate, how that's improved as well.
That's certainly improving, and also it's becoming bigger in the market. I think more people are actually going into those lines.
Why is white chocolate getting tastier? I mean, I must admit it's one of the few things that I would actually prefer just to put to one side.
I think it's just because it's almost going into the luxury buys. Some of our much luxurious chocolates are actually in the white. And I think parents actually prefer it because it's not so messy. If they do give it to children, you don't get the chocolate all around the mouth.
What's in the white chocolate? Do you say that it's less fatty?
It's a cocoa butter, not a cocoa mass that's in it, so it's made purely from cocoa butter.
Much as I love chocolate, you see, I'm ignorant about the difference between the mass and the butter. What is the difference?
I don't really know what the difference is. I think mainly it's for the colouring. Actually, the colouring of the chocolate, it gives the white appearance instead of the brown.
And the messiness as well. Now, the other thing you do is a sort of novelty ranges like Thomas the Tank Engine and Beatrix Potter, which is apparently exclusively done for you.
Yes, the recipe we've actually got in our Beatrix Potter chocolates is exclusive to Marks and Spencer's, and it's using a traditional British recipe. So it's a very good chocolate.
Now you're competing with household names, I dare say Nestle and Mars bars, things like that. How does Marks and Spencer's, which doesn't advertise, compete?
It's very difficult to actually compete with the big names. I mean, it's like the people who buy Heinz baked beans will always buy that product and are a little bit reluctant to try others, but we certainly do a range which is very similar to the big brands. Like the Mars bar, we do our Sparks bar.
And I always used to think Marks and Spencer would never mention that name, where people that said they were going down to Sparks or whatever, but they've actually got a sense of humour now.
Oh yes, we have got a sense of humour at Marks, definitely.
And lots of other of your chocolate bars are very similar to other things in the market. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
We do our mountain bars, which are very similar to Toblerone. We have a fudge bar, which is similar to the little finger of fudge they do. And there are various other ranges that we do.
My favourite, I don't know if it's sitting there, is the Coconut Grove.
Oh yes.
What's your favourite? It's difficult for you, isn't it?
I couldn't tell you. Probably the Swiss truffles.
Do you know what the most popular chocolates are in the store?
It's our the Belgian box chocolates.
Why is that, do you think?
I think basically because people buy them as gifts, they're already wrapped. You don't have to wrap them up yourself, and also they're very good value.
And at Easter times and special times, you do chocolates with fresh cream in. Why are they so... I always think they're a bit sticky, but they prove to be quite popular.
They're very popular. Again, if you get the price right, which I think we have, people like to buy them as gifts because they are a nice gift. I think there's very few people who actually don't like chocolate. And who wouldn't appreciate receiving it as a present.
Well, Sarah, talking of receiving things as presents, we've actually got 5 of these very beautiful boxes to give away. If you answer this very simple question that Sarah's going to tell you in a minute, you could stand a chance to winning this special box of chocolate, which is valued at £6.99. We've got 5 to give away, and we'll be announcing the winners in next Tuesday's programme. I'm looking over here to Sarah to say, what is the simple question, please, Sarah?
The question is, can you name the 2 European countries that supply luxury chocolates to Marks and Spencer's?
Sarah Turner, Food Supervisor at Marks and Spencer, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I'll just remind you of that question again. The question is, name the 2 European countries that provide luxury chocolates to Marks and Spencer. Ring our hotline 666 0432 tonight, and you've got the rest of this week. We'll be announcing the winner in next Tuesday's programme. We're going to take a break now, and after that we're back with Becky Simpson, but Sarah Turner is not going away. She's going to join us for the end of the programme for School Report, when we're going to be munching our way through special chocolates.
The Fairfield, the finest entertainment complex in the south. Enjoy the fantastic classical programme we've put together in the best acoustic concert hall in the country, running now until July '93. Featuring Croydon's resident orchestra, the London Mozart players, and many other first-rate orchestras. Top conductors and musicians perform pieces by all the popular classical composers. There are generous series discounts, and programme details and tickets are available on 081 688 9291.
Times are hard and cash is tight, but here's the thing that's a pretty sight. It's carpet discounts like you've never seen, with quality first in every ream. There's bits and pieces and room sizes too, so there's bound to be something just for you. It's a family business in West Croydon, with Stan and Tony and of course our Ron. They'll see you right in what you need, with delivery and fitting with great speed. So if it's carpets you want, it's here you'll score. But if it's not, there's the pub next door.
Wouldn't you like to run your business from a prestige building that's not only steeped in history but also offers every service you could imagine? Originally the site of the first international airport in Britain, Airport House is now Croydon's international business centre, offering flexible terms on quality office space for large and small companies alike, and the very latest in worldwide video conferencing facilities. With ample parking right on the doorstep and superb motorway connections, it's a unique place for your business. Airport House, Croydon.
Coming up later in School Report, a 7-year-old Croydon schoolgirl becomes Cable Today's very own first chocolate critic. First of all, though, Becky Simpson continues her series looking at chocolate, discovering whether indeed chocoholics really exist.
People often describe themselves as chocoholics, but would someone who loves chocolate behave in the same way as an alcoholic? Would they, for example, search dustbins for chocolate dregs? I've been tempted. Is there such a thing as a chocoholic?
I think there's debate about it within the medical profession. Studies have shown that chocolate's one of the most common food cravings that exist, and a small percentage of people who crave chocolate probably do have a problem eating vast quantities and binging on chocolate. A proportion of these people have an eating disorder, bulimia nervosa, which is actually very common, affecting 2 to 3% of women. And a proportion probably have atypical depression, which is a kind of depression where appetite increases. Whether chocolate specifically, as opposed to other forms of sugary carbohydrates, is consumed specifically is questionable. Other people also binge on ice cream or other forms of sweets.
So could someone who likes chocolate actually suffer from withdrawals in the same way as an alcoholic or somebody who smokes a lot?
There's been interest in that area because chocolate contains theobromine, which is like caffeine. Caffeine is the commonest addiction in the world, and clearly withdrawal effects do occur when people stop drinking coffee or other drinks with caffeine in. And it had been thought that those symptoms might occur with chocolate, but they've never really been convincingly shown to occur.
So is the content of chocolate actually dangerous?
Well, chocolate contains sugar, and so it has bad effects on your teeth, and that's the major problem. And of course it's a fatty food which contains lots of animal fats and high amount of sugar, and so you put on weight, and overweight in Britain is a major problem. 45% of men and 36% of women are over the clinically desirable weights, and that represents a 5% increase in the last 10 years, so we all have a problem with weight.
So what do you personally believe are the psychological reasons as to why people eat chocolate?
Well, I think, first of all, chocolate tastes nice and it's readily available. And a number of studies that have been done looking at chocolate craving have suggested that it's taste that's the most important thing for those people that consume it. However, there are theories that chocolate and carbohydrates in general may affect brain metabolism in a kind of antidepressant way. That research is controversial because people who tend to overeat on sweet foods eat foods rich in fat and protein as well, and chocolate doesn't just contain sugar, it contains fat and protein.
Is there any truth in the idea that chocolate can actually induce the same feelings as being in love?
Well, chocolate and all kinds of nice foods we have a strong drive for, and we get pleasure and we're rewarded neurophysiologically for consuming nice foods. And from an evolutionary point of view, we've evolved to the point where we look for foods that are nice and high energy foods. But I think that it's going a bit too far to suggest that the pleasure you get from chocolate is the same as being in love. I mean, falling in love or being in love is a very complex psychological state. If you reduce it down to just a question of punishment and reward, then there are similarities, but I think intuitively there are big differences.
What about the theory that chocolate's a substitute for sex? Is any truth in that?
I don't think so. I mean, I think that people who are impulsive and tend to binge eat, whether it be on chocolate and other things, actually a small proportion of the people may have a tendency to be impulsive in other ways, whether it be sexually or in terms of shopping. So in fact, I don't know it's necessarily a substitute.
So what actually causes binge eating of chocolate?
Well, no one really knows, except that it possibly may be due to feeling low, and eating is one thing that people do commonly when they're feeling low or irritable. Psychologically, food is symbolic of nurturing and love. It's one of the first sort of relationships we have with our parents, is a feeding one. And so there are psychological theories about why people might eat when they're feeling a bit low. As I've mentioned, there are neurophysiological theories about carbohydrates increasing the availability of certain antidepressant brain transmitters, to put it very crudely, and people giving themselves a treat, doing something nice that is usually forbidden.
And how dangerous is binging?
Binge eating itself causes a number of problems, but it's usually the consequences of binge eating. Most people who binge eat feel bad about it, women more than men, and it's the sequelae of binge eating, like vomiting or using laxatives or extreme dieting, that tend to be much more dangerous than binge eating. There are very few reports of serious consequences of binge eating per se, and I'm not aware of any of binge eating on chocolate, although obviously longer-term effects will be weight gain and it being bad for your teeth.
People who actually think they are chocoholics, what would your advice be to them?
Most people who think they are chocoholics actually eat chocolate because they like the taste and don't have a real problem. And I think if people are concerned that they're chocoholic, the first thing would be to try cutting down, if necessary, using some form of diary to monitor their intake and to look at exactly how much they are eating. If people are actually going very far in binge eating to the point where they're losing control over their eating of chocolate or other foods, and taking dramatic steps like inducing vomiting or using laxatives, then it may well be that they have a clinical problem that requires attention. And in the first instance, they should approach their general practitioner for advice.
So there's no harm in eating a little bit of chocolate?
Well, a little bit of chocolate's fine, although of course you'd be careful about your teeth and putting on weight.
From now on, I think I'm going to keep very quiet about my own chocoholism. Becky Simpson returns tomorrow night. Tomorrow, as I say, she'll be looking at Nestlé, the Croydon company, and the bar they produce, the Kit Kat. We're going to take a break now, and after that, we're back with Cable Today's very own and first chocolate critic.
Romance and nostalgia in the Cotswolds, close to beautiful Georgian Bath and historic Bristol. For the real romantic, try a candlelit dinner in your room. Sip champagne in your Victorian bath beside your blazing fire. Even the cheapest rooms have fires, are spacious, cosy and romantic. Perfect for tired business people. Treat yourself to something special at Hinton Grange, so much more than just a hotel, close to Junction 18 on the M4.
On the top level of the Whitgift Centre Croydon by the Clock is Lyons Jewellers, a jewellery store that offers you more. More choice, one of the largest selections of quality jewellery and leading watches you'll find anywhere. More value, whatever your budget. At Lyons Jewellers, we specialise in diamond jewellery. We make our own to the very highest standards. Our friendly team will help you choose whether it's for you or that special gift. Lyons Jewellers on the top level of the Whitgift Centre Croydon.
You'll be amazed how much you save on new and used Fords at Group Range Cars Mitcham. Now there's 0% finance available on Fiestas, Orions, Escorts and Sierras. Yes, interest-free credit on used 92 and 93 K-Reg models and most new cars too. Choose your car, choose your colour. Put down from just 20% deposit and drive away. Part exchange welcome. Talk to Group Range Cars now about 0% finance. You'll do a great deal buying at Group Range Cars in London Road, Mitcham. Your friendly Ford dealer.
It's time for School Report, that time when I say stand by your rulers, sharpen your pencils. But no, as you're all on holiday, we're going to have a bit of fun today. We're going to be talking about chocolate. I'm delighted to welcome back into the studio Sarah Turner, who's food supervisor at Marks & Spencer, and Cable Today's very own first chocolate critic, Isobel Rapoport, who's 7 and who attends Park Hill Junior School. Welcome to you both. Welcome, Isobel. Now, we gave you that Easter bunny, which comes from Marks & Spencer. You've eaten off one ear. No, you've eaten off 2 ears. God, I didn't see that. Eat off a bit more and tell us what you think of that. Marks out of 10? Marks out of 10? How many would you give?
10.
That's jolly good. And you were very good, weren't you? You didn't speak with your mouth full. Mummy'd be very proud of you. Now, we're going to come on to some chocolate bars that we've got, because we know that you like some and that you don't like others. Now, I know that you like a Bounty bar? Why do you like Bounty bar so much?
I like the coconut.
The coconut. And Toblerone. What about the Toblerone? You like that especially? What's special about that?
Well, I've only tasted it once, but I think I just like it.
Now, what do you when you go to school, I said to you earlier, when you go to work, and you looked at me, silly woman, when you go to school, you have a packed lunch, and you put a chocolate bar into that. What do you take to school, Isobel?
Sometimes I take the club.
Club biscuit?
And sometimes I take a penguin
Which
biscuit.
do you prefer?
Penguin.
Do you? Why do you prefer it?
I don't know.
Just like it better?
Yeah.
Now, I like to know why you like Smarties so much, but why you like the blue ones. I mean, I don't know why I like the black ones better, but you like the blue ones, don't you? Why is that?
Well, I like the blue and green, but the blue the most.
It's a pretty colour.
Because they're both my favourite colours, but also I just find that they both have nice taste.
It tastes different. If I asked your eyes and I gave you a blue Smartie and I gave you a black Smartie and I gave you an orange Smartie, would you notice the difference?
Well, I don't exactly notice the difference, but I just feel as though
it's special.
Yeah.
It's special. Now, we have to come on to something that you really don't like, and that's a Yorkie bar, isn't it? And tell us why you don't like Yorkie bars. Come on, come out with a terrible truth of why you don't like them.
Well, last Christmas, or the Christmas before last Christmas, I ate so many and I was sick.
Isobel Rapoport. How many? How many did you eat?
I'm not sure.
You can't. There were so many. You were under the table. So you used to like them at one point, though, which is presumably why you ate them. Now then, what else have we got here? I know, Rolos. You don't like Rolos, do you? What's so nasty about Rolos?
Well, I did used to like them, but for some reason now I just...
You've grown out of them. Gets to that stage in life, doesn't it, really? Let me come on to Sarah, because Sarah is very lucky and she gets to taste chocolate at Marks & Spencer. I was going to say to you, Sarah, How do you know what you like and what are you looking for when you're actually tasting chocolate at Marks and Spencer?
In the stores, really, we're just tasting it to actually get an appreciation of what the product's like, because obviously customers will come in and ask us for our opinions on the product, so we're very keen for all our staff to try them. But in head office, obviously, they go through several quality tests and basic tests before it's actually launched onto the market.
Is there a vocabulary like wine that you can say, this chocolate has a wonderful aroma?
Yes, but I'd say it was more yummy, and that's great, and yes, I'd buy it.
What other sort of words do you use when you're tasting chocolate? It can't all be yummy. Yes, it can.
I think it can, yes. I mean, it depends on the product. I mean, if it's some of our luxury chocolates, I think perhaps you try and think more of the situation that they'd actually be given. Perhaps for after dinner, the after dinner mints.
Are you given chocolate, and this is for Isobel's age, or this is for an older person buying for a present? I mean, is there a price band when you're actually tasting chocolate?
There's a price band that we offer which would cover everyone who wants to come in and buy, really. I think it's difficult to say which chocolates are suitable for which age group, because a lot of adults will still come in and buy some of our novelty children's range.
Are you tasting the Easter bunnies like Isobel's tasting?
Yes, people in the store would have eaten them.
What marks do you give this out of 10?
I probably won't give it as much as Isobel, because I think it's a little bit thick on the chocolate side, and we have actually got a new range of lollies coming in which are thinner, which I think are more suitable for younger children. But as a chocoholic,
you'll eat that?
I'd eat it.
So when you say lolly, you mean a thin chocolate lolly?
It would be thinner, yes.
We still call them lollies.
We still call them chocolate lollies, yes.
I have a lot to learn
Anything
on
on a
about
stick,
chocolate.
yes.
Now, I think what I might do is ask you to taste one of Isobel's Easter nests, if that's all right. Now, Isobel, you've made this at home with your mother, haven't you? Do you want to tell us a bit about the ingredients? Let me tell you about the ingredients, and then you can read out this. We've got 4 ounces of plain dark chocolate, a cup of Rice Krispies, and 12 chocolate mini eggs, haven't we? Can we lift one up? And if I pass this over to you, you can be munching your way through that. Tell us whether Marks and Spencer's will be interested in that. Shall we read this, Isobel? Do you want to read it? Melt the chocolate
in the microwave for 3 minutes on PL 9, or over a bowl of boiling water.
Number 2.
Pour the Rice Krispies into the chocolate to mix them in, but don't crush them.
Number 3.
Put the mixture into the cake cases and dent each nest for the eggs.
Number 4.
Place in freezer to harden.
Number 5.
Decorate with mini eggs.
And number 6, Isobel?
Eat them.
Yes, that's the best bit of all, isn't it? Now, we have to come over now to Sarah to taste this special Isobel Rapoport Easter nest. Marks are out of 10.
I think definitely 11.
Yay! Well done, 11. Isobel. Well done. And Marks and Spencer's might be giving her a call.
I think they should watch out.
They should watch out.
They should watch out, yes.
Isobel, what do you want to do when you grow up?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? You're not going to actually make chocolate for a living?
I don't know.
We don't know. We'll have to invite you back and find out. Isobel Rapoport from Park Hill Junior School, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Thank you too to Sarah Turner, Food Supervisor at Marks and Spencer in Croydon, we have to say. Thank you very much to you both. We've had a lovely time here at Cable Today. I hope you've enjoyed munching your way through the programme. Do remember to join Cable Today tomorrow. Becky Simpson will be here with entertainment news and more on chocolate. As I say, that's all from Cable Today today, so for what remains of it, do have a very happy Tuesday.